So Joe Biden, he's asked during his press conference about Afghanistan. Okay, let me play you the clip and then we'll discuss.
For the Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to ask you about Afghanistan. You face a May 1st deadline for the withdrawal of U.S. troops from that country. As a candidate in foreign affairs, you wrote that it is past time to end these forever wars. Can you commit to the American people that by May 2nd, the U.S. will no longer have forces in Afghanistan?
The answer is that it's going to be hard to meet the May 1 deadline. Just in terms of tactical reasons, it's hard to get those troops out. So what we've been doing, what I've been doing, and what Secretary Blinken has been doing, we've been meeting with our allies, those other nations that have NATO allies who have troops in Afghanistan as well. And if we leave, we're going to do so in a safe and orderly way. We're in consultation, I say, with our allies and partners and how to proceed. And Secretary Blinken is meeting in Brussels this week with our NATO allies, particularly those who have forces there. And General Austin is just met with Kayani, and I'm waiting for the briefing on that. He is the leader, quote, in Afghanistan and Kabul. And there's a UN-led process that's beginning shortly on how to mechanically get people, how to end this war. But it is not my intention to stay there for a long time. But the question is, how and in what circumstances do we meet that agreement that was made by President Trump to leave under a deal that looks like it's not being able to be worked out to begin with? How's that done? But we are not staying a long time.
You just said if we leave. Do you think it's possible that
we will leave? The question is when we leave.
Do you believe, though, it's possible we could have troops there next year?
I can't picture that being the case. Okay.
I mean, you heard that abomination of an answer, right? He just told you that he's not leaving. Okay, I'm translating it for you. He's not leaving Afghanistan. I mean, what Donald Trump did, if you remember, he started withdrawing a bunch of troops from Afghanistan, right? I think they were how many were they? Around 15,000, if I'm not mistaken. And now they're 2,500, right? And the agreement that they made with the Taliban was that they were going to leave in May. Now, what the Biden administration is doing is they're saying, oh, no, because one of the conditions for them to leave was that, you know, attacks on U.S. troops and any sort of cooperation with al-Qaeda and, insurgent groups, this has to stop. And so now the Biden administration are saying, well, oh, well, look, these attacks did not stop. We're still under fire. And so we can't leave because, you know, the situation, it's for tactical reasons. Motherfucker, you're illegally occupying their country. Of course you're under attack. It's not your country. People want you to get the fuck out. If someone broke into your house, what would you do? Especially Americans. What's the first thing you do? They blast you. They blast you away. And you got your whole army over there. And not just them, again. It's the British, the Australians, right? I've covered their war crimes. And, I mean, what kind of a reasoning is that? Like, union agreement? Imagine just people breaking into your house and killing your family and stealing your, your food and your supplies, and then they stay there for 20 fucking years, and then they're like, oh no, well, you know, I don't feel like you're holding up your end of the bargain, so I can't leave just yet. Sorry. That is how absurd he sounds, and even worse. And it's not just him. Every one of these pieces of shit has been doing that. All of them, right? since Bush invaded in 2001. They've all been doing it. Obama, Trump, now him. And the irony of, because you heard the question was, you wrote in Foreign Affairs about, you know, the endless wars. Yeah, he helped start them. He helped start them, man. They're never leaving Afghanistan, right? Because the AUMF, the Authorization for Use of Military Force of 2001, right? This is their template for the war on terror. It doesn't even say Al-Qaeda in there. It doesn't even say Taliban. It doesn't even specify a country. It doesn't even say Afghanistan. It says that Congress is giving the president the authorization to use military force against anyone who participated in the 9/11 attacks or aided and abetted. And, you know, it's extremely ambiguous, and it's a, you know, a blanket justification that they've been using as a carte blanche, as a blank check to just go everywhere, right? That's why they went into 19 countries that with the report that came out of Congress. 19 countries they've conducted operations in because of this AUMF. 19 countries, right? They go into Libya, Somalia, Yemen, Syria, and they just say, oh, look, AUMF, we can do that. And once again, outside of the borders of the United States, the AUMF is a piece of toilet paper. You know why? Because it's not international law. It doesn't mean shit. When you go and invade another country and you try to replace their government, that's a crime of aggression. It's a war of aggression. So it's a crime, one of the 4 crimes under the International Criminal Court, right? And so, which of course the United States has never ratified. So, although to be fair, Russia left it too, which I think is bullshit. I don't think that's acceptable. So, you know, they've been escaping accountability for this, and my point is, just go back to my original point, because you need to understand the background here. They're never going to leave, and they're never going to let go of that AUMF, because it's their blank check to get away with murder, literal fucking murder. Okay, and the irony of him bringing up Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense. The guy worked for Raytheon until a few weeks ago. The day that he got the job, he left his position at Raytheon. He has a fucking incentive to sell arms and go to war. What are you doing? That's like hiring an arsonist at a fire department. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? You think that guy's going to strive for peace? And they just swallowed this fucking horseshit. Oh, it's driving me nuts. This is not a press corps. Okay, this is not a press corps. These people are fucking lapdogs. They are slime. They are propagandists. They are war criminal scum. They are the mouthpiece of the Pentagon. Okay, that's who they are. This softball question bullshit, that's not going to fly. This is not a fourth estate. Okay, if you pretend or you proclaim to take democracy seriously, and you must surely believe in the freedom of press and in the institution in having a fourth estate. What is this? What is this? Yeah, I understand a little bit of slobbering. Not this shit. This is full on, what does Jimmy Dore say? A tongue bath? That's what it is, right? I understand. Oh my God, it's the first press conference. Hello, Mr. President. No. You're not there to kiss his ass. This is bullshit, right? And again, look, I don't want to blame the guy who asked the question. I'm glad he brought it up, right? I'm glad he brought it up, as he should. But my point is that he should push back on the answers that Biden gave, right? He should have said, we've been there 20 fucking years. Why can't we just leave tomorrow? Didn't Lloyd Austin work for Raytheon? Don't they make money off of the war? Isn't that a conflict of interest? You'll never hear these questions, ever. So how are they holding him accountable? They're not. They're giving him softballs, and I mean it's pathetic, right? So I'm astonished that that he could be worse than Trump, right? again, I'm not really, I'm conflicted about this idea that some people have that, you know, Trump was, he was, you know, secretly going to stand up to the deep state, and, you know, he was going to really show them by pardoning Julian Assange, which he didn't do. And, you know, some people say that, okay, well, the fact that he was withdrawing troops from Afghanistan is a sign of that. I don't know, but, you know, is it a good thing that he signed an agreement to fuck off on May 1st? Yeah, it is. But at the same time, why did he schedule it for when he's no longer in power? This is once again a trick that they use to shirk responsibility, to make sure that the wars continue. Because he knows the next guy, he knows that if Biden wins, he's going to keep the war going, right? He knows that. And so he draws down the number of troops to make himself look good. And yeah, that's an objectively good thing, right? But still, 2,500 troops, that's 2,500 troops too many. That is not your country. You have no business there. You are illegally occupying it. And when I say you, I mean also the British and the Australians and their whole coalition. They have no business in that country. Fucking zero. Okay? None whatsoever. I don't care if it's one troop. Could you imagine one Afghan troop walking around in New York with a fucking machine gun? Do you think they would tolerate that shit for 1 second? You would have 15,000 helicopters and the army swooping down on him. One fucking man. Never mind an army. So how do you allow yourself to behave that way to others? This is bullshit. And, you know, all these people thought, oh, he's going to be different. He's going to be better. You are such fucking tools. I warned you about this. I told you this shit. How many fucking times have I sat here and told you this guy is a warmonger? He's going to bomb my country. He's going to keep troops in Afghanistan. He's going to keep all the wars going. And he's going to fuck you too, because you're the ones being sent to die there. You're the ones who are not getting health care because he's spending all the money on this shit, right? When you have a government preoccupied with war, with jerking each other off, you know, making profits for their fucking buddies in the private sector, yeah, of course they're never going to tend to you because they're not your government. They're gangsters. They're running a racket. They're taking you for suckers. Who buys this? Who buys this shit? Who thinks that for, you know, Afghans should live one fucking more hour under occupation? Never mind a fucking month or years or 20 goddamn years. 1 hour. How dare you? It's not your fucking country, you asshole. So that was about it for Afghanistan. That's it. That little 2-minute clip. Right? The longest war in US history, and a new president gets in, one of the architects of this whole system, right? 2 minutes. 2 minutes. That's what they did on the longest war in US history. And you have to keep in mind how long the Afghans have been suffering. Because before that, they had the Soviets that invaded them, 79 to 89, right? And then you had all these mujahideen who then started forming Al-Qaeda and turning the place upside down. And, you know, if you go and look at what happened just after 9/11, the Taliban, they were willing to negotiate, right? U.S. did not care. It was a, you know, a pre-drawn conclusion. No, you're responsible. You were harboring terrorists. We're going to come get you. And then they said the same shit about Saddam. Like, oh, Saddam Hussein is harboring Al-Qaeda. We're going to come get him for that. And he has weapons of mass destruction. both of those things completely absurd. Who created Al-Qaeda? You fucking created Al-Qaeda. Now you've been invading and occupying 19 other countries for a problem that you created. Why don't you go and invade fucking Langley then and deal with it really? It's a racket. It's a racket. That's all it is. It's a racket. They're making money. That's it. It's a cash cow. And who pays for that? The Afghan people, right? And of course all the others who have been a victim of the war on terror. And even everyday Americans, because as I told you, no healthcare. You know, they give you a little Purple Heart after you lost both your fucking legs, patrolling some place that you have no business being in. This is absurd, right? And I think it's so astounding that Biden has managed to find, you know, I mean, the bar was so low with Trump, and he manages to lower it even more. Unbelievable. How on God's earth do you make Trump look more like a pacifist than you? That's fucking Trump. Trump bombed Syria. Trump killed General Soleimani. Trump aided and, he continued the same policies for the military-industrial complex. and you still managed to go even worse. Yeah, after all, are we surprised? It's Joe Biden. He got you Trump in the first place. Oh, they're such scum.